To put in the outer edges, we've seen the technique of the Mercury cube. We can't do that in this particular one. We have to do the Venus version of the algorithm. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to first do the top side, which is going to be one of my bandaged sides, in my case red, and then the bottom side, which is also going to be bandaged, which in my case is orange. Yours is probably going to be a different color scheme. The reason that I'm going to want to do that is because to do this algorithm, you must have a bandaged side on top, or it's going to get screwed up. So let's work on the red one first. This one happens to be in position, the green and the red, and we have to get red ones at the side here. So here's one that's at the side. If I apply that algorithm, this is going to move with it, so I can't have it there. I need to flip this over here. So the one really new algorithm that you're going to have to know to do this is hold this so that the blue is on the F side, and just, if this is over here on the L side, could be opposite if it's on the right side, then you do 2L, 2B, 2L, 2B. And what that did is that maintained all of this, but it bumped this blue side out and put it over here. So now I'm just going to line it up. Here's the red and blue. Find the red and blue here. Line it up to where blue meets blue, red meets red, and then do that Venus algorithm, which in this case, on the right side, is going to be R, F, RI, F, R, 2F, RI. And there it is here. And just move it in place. Again, this is in place. Here's a red one over here. We have to move it down here. So to do that, we have to be cognizant of this over here. And these are really just going to be combinations of F and R's or L's and F's. So in this case, it's going to be F, R, Fi, Ri. Actually, it didn't mess it up. How lucky are we? But anyway, it did bump this over here. So now we can put this into position, find the white one. Here's a white one, and we just do the left side of that algorithm. So that's the Li, Fi, L, Fi, Li, 2F, Li. And I'll post these, and so that's in place. That's in place, this is still in place, and this is still in place. Now we just have the red and the yellow, which is down here. To deal with it, if it's down here, then I'm just going to move it, I have to move it up to here. Just do a F, Li, Fi, L. So I think you kind of get the picture with that. You can memorize it as an algorithm, but I don't think it's too hard to just figure out. These are still in place, so I'm going to put this up here, doing that same right-sided algorithm. And all these are in place here. So we've got the top cross solved. We just apply exactly the same thing to this bottom part. Here's right out of the gate, here's an orange and green, and that's already set up fairly nicely over here. So, orange and green. Let's see what else we got here. Any other oranges? Okay, here's an orange and blue. If it's on the bandage side, don't attempt this at home like this. You're going to screw it up. So we have to move it out here. If it's on the bandage side, let's actually take this so that it's facing one that's not already solved. And we're going to do the 2R, 2B, 2R, 2B, and we put it over here. You can keep checking here. From time to time you might do something that knocks this out. If that happens, don't panic, just put it back. You won't screw anything else up for long. Anyway, this is already in line here, so we're just going to substitute this here and do our algorithm to flip this in here. And just like magic, this is still fine, but we have this in here. Alright, so we're doing pretty well. We'll keep going. Here's one for the white side. So we'll put this back in here. So that's okay. And now we just have one more, which is the blue. Here's the orange and blue. Got lucky over here. It's in a good position. And that's in there too. Alright, so what we have is we have the top cross with the orange and the bottom cross with the red. Now we just have to constitute the middle cross, which is really the same thing. Again, keeping in mind that to do this algorithm, a bandage side must be on top. We're going to just move these up to meet with the outer edges. I like to do the bandage side first because that could be the most complicated. Here's one over here. I'm just going to ignore that for now. Find the other blue. Find the blue and white. And here's the blue and white here. So what I'm going to do is this gets flipped up, and this is going to come over here to meet this over here. And then we're going to move it in by that same algorithm. There it is here. Then we've got to move it back and move it back down. And as such, we maintain our positions here and we fill this in. So what about this guy? How are we going to get this guy out? Let's go ahead and bump that out. Trying to think, we could try to put these in, but that's still going to be a problem for us. So let's just bump it out. 2, 2, 2, 2. And that's exactly what it did. It kept these in place, so I guess that was simple enough. What was I worried about? Anyway, bring this up here, bring this here, and solve for this side here. Now you may have already seen possible trouble in terms of what it did to the red, but I'm telling you, don't panic yet and move this back down. So as you can see, we bumped the red one out. When you see that happen, just put it back in, because it took a little doing to get that in place, and you're not going to mess things up if you just put it back in. And we'll just arrange that. So the end result is we've maintained our bottom side, we've put our blue sides in place, and we've maintained this here. Now all we have left is these two. There's a couple of scenarios that can happen. So here's one of them. One is the easiest, which is this. And if you notice, this belongs here, this belongs here. This is a typical case of parity. We've seen this before, and you're probably guessing how we're going to deal with this to rotate these two to the opposite side. And that's going to be doing our R2U, R2U, R2U. But we can't do that on this side. We have to move it to a bandage side, which happens to be just below or just above. So we'll go up here to a bandage side and just apply that algorithm. R2U, 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 R. So we see our greens here, move them back down, and that's solved. So now we have our middle one solved and our top one solved. So here's another potential situation. As you can see, we've got this fine. We just don't have these. These aren't in the right place. Well, they actually are in the right place. They're just turned around. So what do we do about this situation, which is kind of the converse? Sometimes it can be like this. Well, the problem is that you generally are going to put a third one out of sorts. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to move this up here, move this across here, and I'm just going to move this into here to exchange this. Now here's the overall effect of what this is going to do. I'm going to mess one of these up, and upon doing this, I'm just going to clean up the mess that I caused. So basically what I'm going to be doing is when I move it up here, this is just to reset things, offset things a little bit. So I'm just going to move this up to here just to kick this out of this asymmetric position. And you can see by these two reds, there's trouble afoot. And then bring it back down. So this did get bumped out here. This is over here, and then I've now got it over here. So really just kind of clean it up. Let's get our red one back. So this will come over here. Alright, bring this here and just kind of reevaluate our situation. You can see that this got knocked out from over here, so I'm going to put that back in. So this will come over here. This is a quick enough algorithm. I find Mars to be the most rickety of the cubes for some reason. This gets back into here, and this just got solved. And that's what you're going to find when you get in a situation like that. Just move it into here and just take care of everything you messed up, and everything's going to be fine.